just taken a moment. I love being old. I am so proud of how many years I've lived on this planet. If you say to me, "Nice to meet you, how you doing?" I'll answer, "I'm great, I'm 72 years old." I wouldn't go back to being young for anything. In my 30s, I used to go around reciting this line from a Michelle Schock song. "When I grow up, I want to be an old lady." People used to roll their eyes at me, but I was serious. My favorite t-shirt has the word hag printed on it. Hag comes from the Old English hag-cha-cha-cha. Hag is from hag, and it means a witch, a sorceress, an enchantress, and a healer. The Oracle of Delphi was probably a hag. Just call me an old lady aspiring to be a hag. I'm not so ruled by fear and angst anymore. Usually if the bedevilings come and begin their round of torture at 3 a.m, it's not called the hour of the wolf for nothing. I remember to breathe deep, give them a little space, say, "Okay, I hear you, now go on," and they do go, sooner and sooner. I used to think you could solve problems by worrying about them. Worry is nothing but a waste of energy. To this drama queen, drama has become not interesting. When bad shit happens, the only control you have is your reaction to it. I like to say that these days I glide over more potholes than I fall into, but I have a confession to make. A couple of months ago, I was on my way to visit my son in Red Hook, Brooklyn. I'd always driven, but this time I took the train and then the subway and had to find my way home from an elevated platform to his apartment, and the GPS said it's 0.8 miles. Descending those 2 escalators, the steep steps to the street, I patted myself on my back. Look at you, 72 years old, walking nearly a mile with a heavy backpack, all buff and strong from your exercise, finding your way with nothing but the GPS on your phone, which I was looking at when I tripped and smashed my face right into the sidewalk. I should say my nose, which is big and apparently strong because it didn't break, but it did bleed, as did my forehead and my knees. And 2 really sweet young men came up and offered to help me, but I could stand on my own, and then they offered me tissues for the blood, and I said, "Oh, I have some in my pocket." Could there be a more direct illustration that pride comes before a fall? And still, there I was, too prideful to accept help. But needing help is the territory you enter in advanced old age. Maybe it's to teach you to be vulnerable, which is where I'm headed sooner than I'd like to think. At least I knew to be grateful, and as I walked to my sons, I called out big, silent thank yous for the strong, healthy body and for the brain injury and cracked knees I did not sustain. Sorry to be so preachy. It's the downside of this hag's old age. I have to mention my Friday morning dance classes. Every 3 weeks, we're taught a new routine in a different genre. The first was backup singer moves. I had no idea I was waiting my whole life to pretend I'm a backup singer. I had no idea I'd been waiting my whole life for half the things in it. Here's a favorite line from a Tim Seibels poem. I didn't know what I didn't know, and then I knew. That's what happens in old age. Aches and pains and age spots appear out of nowhere. Suddenly a knee will crack every time you stand up, or your foot will feel like a sock is bunched under it. Memory's the biggest problem. I forget what people just told me yesterday, and then they think I wasn't listening or I don't care. The memory banks are full to bursting, and the brain does not fire with such alacrity anymore. I used to be able to eat and drink anything I damn well pleased. I get a hangover from ice cream now. It's true. I should replace my wood stove with a gas fireplace. I'm really not looking forward to another slip disc, but I'm too cheap and stubborn. Mainly, though, hauling wood is good exercise. And if I must live a long life into advanced old age, somebody might say she was 100 years old and still hauling wood. I remind my doctor every time I see him, I am not afraid of dying, I'm afraid of hospitals. Do not put me in one. Witnessing friends in decline is painful, and losing them is worse. So far, with work, the ailments have disappeared, but that won't always be the case. I don't know how I'll respond to severe disabilities. I can only hope with grace. Grace is not something I experience when people condescend to me with dear and sweetheart. On the other hand, offer me your seat on public transportation and I just may hug you. I'm way more patient and kind, which is not to say I am either very patient or kind, just more so. All right, this is going to sound awfully cornball or worse, self-congratulatory. I actually like myself. Love myself. I don't hate myself. Sometimes I even think I'm beautiful. And this magnanimity can extend to everybody some days. What a blessing it is not to go around despising myself and every other person who crosses my path. Death really excites me. I'm looking forward to it. Leaving this life is the next and maybe the greatest adventure of all. I don't know what will happen, and I'm really looking forward to finding out. Thank you, everybody.